Ooh, G-gang. Oh, miss. All right. So, today for God's Autobiography, I've brought you to behind the fence, just on the other side of Beastwood's yard. So, Beastwood's torn apart yard is there. Fun power lines to climb over there. And we're at the fence woods where they just chopped down a bunch of trees. But for today's story, I decided to dive into I guess one of my hardest times. I'm 28 now, and this was probably one of the harder financial moments of my life. Almost, I mean, probably, definitely the hardest. Right after I kind of spoke to the universe and said, "Hey, I'm ready for some challenges." So this one was like right on cue. It was great. For like a quick preface, is kind of like what I like about my life is I've been expecting life to be hard. I expect that if life is easy, I'm doing something wrong, and when I moved out to Colorado last year, I knew immediately some of my best and worst moments were about to present themselves to me in that state and on this journey. And if I can get any of the hard times out of the way quickly, like I know they're coming, if I can get them off the calendar right away, then hell yeah. And I took quite a few X's off of my calendar in Colorado. So before moving out there, I was on Long Island. I was teaching martial arts. I left martial arts because it was presented to me as a career and I didn't want to stay still. I wanted to keep moving. Looked at a couple job options, still was quitting the dojo, even though none of the other options kind of worked out. And my Renchi offered that I stay there and continue to work. I still have good ties with the school. But I told him that I kind of need this fire to be lit under my ass, and I need to force myself into this. So the only thing that happened was I landed at a Best Buy. It was not great, not making much more money, but it was something towards the transition of me moving and doing something else. And it wasn't presented to me as a career. So I was there for about 9 months, and I decided to move off to Colorado. My choices were mostly Colorado or Florida, just kind of talking to some friends, some trickers in different areas, like, hey, where can I stay? I'll look for a job when I get there. Colorado worked out. Had the Torque House in Highlands Ranch in Colorado. They were willing to put me up in their basement. I was keen to it. I drove out. Many stories will come from that. I actually just tattooed a friend's hand today who was on that trip, and the tattoos were from then. It'll maybe tomorrow. But so I get to Colorado, and in that process of figuring out what I'm going to do, I had already quit Best Buy, contacted the Best Buy near Highlands Ranch, and I was going to transfer. It wasn't like a direct transfer, it was more like I'm quitting, getting hired type of transfer. But on the phone, they were keen to it. I told them that I'd be in Colorado until about May, which is when I planned on leaving, and they were keen to that. So I fly out there, everything's good. We drove. I get there, we have an in-person or a phone interview, and they're still set up to keep me on full-time, basically a transfer. I have an interview in person. They call me to come in. I speak with the guy. Not only does he say that he wants to keep me on full-time, he was going to keep my pay, even though I was going to be, I guess, like demoted, but whatever. Keeping my full-time, keep my full hours, keep my pay. It was great. A week or two later, they call me. They say, hey, we're not going to have you full-time. We don't want to pay you essentially bonuses if you're going to be leaving in May. And I wasn't going to bike 5 miles each day to get some part-time wage. So yeah, that didn't work out too well. This was especially bad because I had paid about $750 in student loan consolidations. See, I had my loans consolidated into one loan that I can pay through a annual income kind of, I don't know, every year they reevaluate my standings, and then I make my payments through whatever they calculate. A lot cheaper. It's nice. But I just paid a lot, hoping to make some of this money back, and I couldn't. My job was taken. So I was working a little bit as a valet parking. Bear in mind, I just went like the last 3 years on a bicycle, hadn't really driven a car much, and this valet company works for like the upper 2% sometimes. And their insurance policy was, hey, if you scratch or dent or ding a car, you got to pay for it. And I can't really fix a paint job on a Lambo. So I was a little intimidated by that job. So didn't make very much money there. Didn't get the job that I was told 3 times I would get, paying money for student loans. It gets a little worse. Gets a lot worse. I had one more payment coming up for think it was like $150, something like that. And I was getting paid from a different job like a couple days later than my payment was supposed to go out. Normally, if you just call a company and say, hey, can I defer my payment by a little bit? They're usually fine with it. I've had to do it for other things. So I call them to defer my student loan payment, consolidation fee. And they say there were no consolidation fees. And I was real surprised by that, because there were about $750 of consolidation fees. And she expressed some concern that maybe I could be a victim of fraud. The idea being that a middleman company had kind of reached out to me, told me about the loan, took all my information and my money, gave my information to the correct people who did this thing for free, and then bam, I'm just paying a consolidation fee that doesn't exist. So I go to the bank. I had Chase at the time, and Chase, I spoke with the branch manager for a really long time, several days. They gave me some good news right away. This actually might even be on the phone, might not even have gone in yet. They said, this sounds fraudulent. Now, I told them everything. I told the people that contacted me that I gave them my bank information. That's how they were able, I gave them the money. They lied about who they were. So they knew this. I told them this, and they said, okay, well, this sounds fraudulent. You're going to wait up to, it was like 4 to 12 hours, something like that, until the money is in your account, and bam, it was there. It was great. They said, wait up to 48 hours while we make sure, we're going to look into this, make sure it's fraudulent, everything checks out. So I waited 3 days just to be sure. And I just got $750 back. It was great. I needed to pay rent. Like, again, I just didn't get that Best Buy job. Things were pretty tough. It was a godsend. It was great. In the meantime, I had landed a little job at Ross, just like a little discount store in the stockroom, just taking boxes from trucks, putting them onto carts, pushing those carts out to the store, and putting shit on the store shelves. So it was a shitty job that I kind of liked, because they let me have my headphones, and I would just listen to like psychology lectures or game development conferences and just have a great learning experience while I work. That was nice. I liked that a lot. But it got a bit worse. A few weeks later, maybe a couple, maybe one, I don't know. It's all mixed up now. I get this. I wake up to a notification that I have negative $600 in my only bank account. So it turns out that Chase didn't think that this was fraudulent, even though this has been well over that 48-hour window that they told me about, or at least that I recall them telling me about. They said, no, this actually doesn't, it seems like we're totally with you. This is bad. They took your money, but this is a claim. This is not fraudulent because you gave them the information, which is, again, I had spent a lot of time at different like Chase banks just talking to managers and shit. I had told them that I gave them my information. So if I didn't qualify for a claim, that should have been that. They should have never credited me the money in the first place is what they're trying to tell me now. But that doesn't mean that it's my fault that they did, and I don't know. It all just kind of sucks. Pretty bad time. I have no money. I have a really shit job in a discount store. I'm in like a really new place. I had only been to Colorado for a while. I was supposed to be there until May. I think I was going to be there until May. And then to top it off, the Ross, the only job that I kept, out of all of Colorado, only 2 Ross locations were going to close. And of course, the one that I was working at closed. So I had no first job, scared of the second job, third job closed out on me, got money back, and got that same money taken from me. And I'm still dealing with that. That whole issue is pretty bad. I had told the branch manager, I asked him if they were hiring because I want Chase to pay this bill and I don't care if I have to work for it. And I would have just really appreciated a job at the time. But yeah, now we're making the rounds again, heading out to Arizona. First this time, I went to Arizona last time. After all of that fell through, I ended up taking a bus down to Arizona in February. And year number 2, let's try it out. Let's see if I make any more, I guess I made the mistakes, but see if any more of these mistakes come up in this series. Well, that's fun. Tough time of mine in God's Autobiography. I think we're on part 14, 15. I don't know. It's a Monday, so it's the first day of the week. We're going to keep going. That's it. Goodbye. Goodbye, good night. See you forever. See you forever. What does that mean?